So the project involved engaging with businesses within the region to see how they could become more dementia-friendly, and we did that by getting a consultant from Hammond Care to come and review their businesses. So with this project, the Dementia Action Group members were able to draw information from the clientele that they have, and so the co-design approach worked really well because of the diversity of our Dementia Action Group membership. So far, part of our plan, we had information sessions as well for community as well as business.
So the project is basically about increasing awareness, first up, and secondly, it's basically getting businesses to come on board and realise that if they make their businesses a lot more friendly for people that are experiencing dementia, that they're going to actually have increased patronage.
Foodland is very good at Balhana, and yes, the service of the young people at the cashier is great, and they're friendly and quite interested in how are you and all that type of thing.
Yes, I think that's very important no matter where you're shopping. I like people to welcome you and then be helpful and courteous no matter where you're going. No, it encourages you to go back again. So you enjoyed it earlier, definitely, yes. And to tell your friends, you know, oh, that's a good place to go.
We've got a few customers actually that get very confused about what they're doing, and you can know the background about it. You know, if they've come in for the second or third time for a coffee, just ask them about their day and what they've been up to.
I'm guessing probably more keeping a quiet atmosphere, nothing too overwhelming, because that can be really confronting and then it becomes uncomfortable for them. So it's about creating space and a quiet atmosphere and being overwhelmingly kind.
It'd have to be somewhere that is safe and relaxed, and just somewhere that you can go and know things are going to be okay. Just
Kindness and empathy, I think, and that would actually go well right across the board, no matter where you're coming from. Because if English is not your first language, if you're experiencing memory changes, there are so many things. Everyone's fighting a battle that we don't know about. So coming at people with empathy instead of people's own agendas, that's what I'd like to see. Probably the biggest thing that we've achieved today is the information sessions. We're still working through with the businesses to have the reviews taking place. So the information sessions which we hosted in Harndorf, where we had a community session, and then we also had a session that was focused around the businesses. So two kind of levels of information, but also sharing knowledge and increasing people's awareness.
To begin with, businesses are able to react to some of the sensory issues that are involved around people living with dementia, in terms of noise and visual cues and those sorts of things. They're relatively simple and straightforward actions that businesses are able to engage in.
Another really big trigger that we got was there were conversations in a town in our region in Harndorf that they're looking to make their main street dementia friendly.
What's going on in Harndorf and what they're looking at doing in Harndorf, which is one of our biggest tourism areas here in the Adelaide Hills, to actually the fact that the momentum is gaining because they can see the potential in having people come that might have memory changes but still want to experience something.
So the key thing for our success was our Dementia Action Group. The entire group are made up of a diverse, collaborative group of people from organisations across the entire region. They've engaged their own clientele, so people living with dementia, their Mind Matters group, which we've been working closely with, and also the Carers and Disability group as part of the carers perspective. So that's been key to our success, is having a co-design approach.
I mean, my involvement was basically to turn up and be available to chat with people, particularly in the breaks and after the sessions, and present my experiential knowledge of dementia and people living with dementia as a fairly long-term carer. which I was really happy to do. And I thought that the sessions that were conducted were excellent. They were happy places to come to, people were welcomed, and there was certainly good information provided. People went away, I believe, with a lot more knowledge and understanding about dementia and the issues around it.
I think the best thing about our area, like across the collaborative area, so all three council areas, is the townships still have the small town vibe, so people understand their neighbours probably a little bit better than what we may do down in the metro area. So that gives people more of a sense of identity and a sense of belonging. And that's the reason why our project, not just this project, but actually our larger project across the board, is to help keep people ageing in place. And because they don't want to leave a place where they feel they belong.
They greet you when we come off the bus. There's always some lady at the door to welcome us for positive ageing. Well, it could be more positive. The people that run the place, I think, the service naturally, and being very helpful and kind.
Yes, good service. And places to be neat and tidy, and perhaps something, picture flowers or something or other, depending on where you are, but the appearance and the service.
But I think there is the possibility to build more on the more deeper awareness and understanding of what dementia brings with it.
The biggest challenge, I still believe, is stigma, that people are afraid of what they don't know. They hear the worst and think that's what it is. Or they think that they might have to make major changes to their shop or their restaurant or their business environment that's going to be expensive, where actually it possibly is not, and actually just could be their own personal manner, how they're talking, needs to change, which costs nothing.